damn fine coffee, and a slice of cherry pie. If those words instantly transport you to a misty, mysterious town in the Pacific Northwest, filled with secrets, oddballs, and that unforgettable sense of the uncanny, then you, my friend, have been touched by the genius of David Lynch. But today, we gather not just to celebrate, but to mourn. On January 16th, 2025, the world lost one of its most visionary storytellers. David Lynch passed away at the age of 78, leaving behind a legacy that redefined cinema and television. His family shared a heartfelt message, saying there's a big hole in the world now. For those of us who lived through the eras he captured so vividly, the dreamy haze of the 70s, the shadowy underbelly of the 80s, the experimental energy of the 90s, this news hits like a gut punch. David Lynch didn't just make movies. He crafted experiences that lingered, experiences that stirred old memories of late-night viewings, whispered conversations with friends, and that thrilling unease of peering into the surreal. Today on Xplained Daily, we're paying tribute to the master of surreal cinema. We're diving into his life, his iconic works, and why his art still feels so personal, so emotional, even decades later. Let's unravel the mystery together. David Keith Lynch was born on January 20th, 1946, in Missoula, Montana. He grew up in what looked like a picture-perfect version of small-town America. White picket fences, quiet streets, endless blue skies. But even as a child, Lynch sensed something strange beneath the surface. His father worked for the U.S. Forest Service, moving the family throughout the Northwest. Those vast forests and fog-filled landscapes would later echo through his films. Lynch once described his childhood as beautiful, but with a strange undercurrent. That single phrase could describe his entire body of work. He began as a painter, studying at the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts in Philadelphia. It was there, surrounded by industrial decay and forgotten spaces, that his imagination took a darker turn. He started experimenting with short films, blending animation and live action in unsettling ways. Works like 6 Men Getting Sick and The Alphabet were raw, disturbing, and unmistakably Lynchian. For many watching today who remember the cultural shifts of the 60s and 70s, his art felt familiar. It echoed the era's fascination with the subconscious, the hidden fears we rarely spoke about. His breakthrough came in 1977 with Eraserhead, a nightmarish story of a man navigating parenthood in a bleak industrial world. Shot over 5 years on a shoestring budget, it became a cult classic. That unsettling baby, the constant crying, the isolation, it wasn't just horror. It was anxiety, fear, responsibility. If you first saw Eraserhead on a grainy VHS tape late at night, it may have stirred something deeply personal, especially if you were stepping into adulthood yourself at the time. In 1980, Lynch surprised everyone with The Elephant Man, a deeply humane story about Joseph Merrick. Shot in black and white, it earned him Academy Award nominations and proved he could bring tenderness and compassion to the screen without losing his unique voice. Then came Dune in 1984, a massive sci-fi adaptation that struggled at the box office. Lynch later distanced himself from the final cut, but even then, his visual imagination was impossible to ignore. For many who grew up in the 80s, it remains a strange, unforgettable spectacle. But in 1986, David Lynch delivered Blue Velvet, a sunny suburb, white fences, red roses, and beneath it all, something rotten. The film peeled back the illusion of American innocence, revealing violence and obsession hiding just below the surface. The image of insects writhing beneath green grass became one of cinema's most powerful metaphors. Kyle MacLachlan, Isabella Rossellini, and Dennis Hopper created characters that stayed with us long after the credits rolled. If you lived through the Reagan years, this film captured that uneasy contrast between optimism and reality. Then, in 1990, came Twin Peaks. Who killed Laura Palmer? That question changed television forever. Co-created with Mark Frost, Twin Peaks blended soap opera drama with dream logic, humor, and terror. It was appointment viewing. Families gathered. Friends debated theories late into the night. Agent Cooper's love of coffee, the log lady, the red room, these weren't gimmicks. They felt strangely familiar, like fragments from our own dreams. Twin Peaks became a cultural phenomenon, earned Golden Globes, and returned years later in 2017 with a revival that challenged everything we thought television could be. David Lynch never stopped experimenting. Wild at Heart won the Palme d'Or. Lost Highway bent reality. The straight story quietly moved audiences with its simplicity. Mulholland Drive became a haunting meditation on dreams, identity, and heartbreak, earning him another Academy Award nomination. His final feature, Inland Empire, pushed digital filmmaking into uncharted territory. Beyond film, Lynch painted, made music, designed furniture, and openly shared his love of transcendental meditation. He even delivered daily weather reports online, a simple ritual that made fans smile. His influence is everywhere. Modern television and film owe him a debt that can't be repaid. In his final years, Lynch battled serious health issues and lived quietly, but his imagination never faded. His passing leaves a hole in the world, but his work fills it with wonder, mystery, and emotion. For many of us, especially those over 45, David Lynch's films aren't just stories. They're time capsules, reminders of who we were, what we feared, and how deeply art can make us feel. Thank you for joining this tribute on Xplained Daily. If David Lynch's work ever stayed with you, unsettled you, or made you feel something you couldn't explain, share your favorite memory in the comments. We'd love to hear it.